Good morning. This meeting of the Blair County Board of Commissioners is called to order. We will begin with a moment of silent reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nicole, do we have anyone joining us remotely?
I do not believe we do, but just in case, is there anyone joining us remotely for the meeting? Not hearing anyone, ma'am, that is roll.
Number 5 on your agenda shows the upcoming meetings, and for once we don't have cancellations that I know of, so that's new for the last few weeks. We have approval of meeting minutes for May 9th and May 11th under item 6. Did you have an opportunity to review those? Okay.
I did not. No,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We will hold that till a future agenda then. It's due to not having time to review those. Number 7 is public comment. Is there any public comment? I'm seeing none. So we will move to number 8, which is commissioner comments. Commissioner Webster.
Thank you. This week is National EMS Week. These are the folks that show up for us at the scene of the worst crises in our lives. And they provide critical care and reassurance to the people that they're treating and trying to take care of and help. Please be sure to recognize them, thank them, and pray for our emergency medical responders. Also, I would like to congratulate and have you all take note. Our custodial department has done significant work on the old side of the courthouse on the first floor. The painting is done and it looks very nice. Well, I think it looks nice. You'll have to go and take a look for yourselves. And the floors are polished and everything's looking fantastic. So please take a look at those things and be happy that they've been taken care of. And thanks to the custodial department.
Thank you. This week, I just briefly wanted to mention it is Foster Care Month. So there are activities taking place at the Curve game on Saturday, and then Friday's Curve game is also Mental Health Awareness Night. So if you're going to the Curve this week, we have some great events there and tables with information on resources for the public. So keep that in mind if you're at the Curve. Nicole, can you lead us through the consent agenda?
Certainly. Today's consent agenda for your consideration is resolution number 244. That is the payment of 3 warrant lists as outlined in your agenda in item A. It's the ratification of 8 warrant lists as outlined in your agenda in item B. It's the ratification of total payroll for the check dated May 19th, 2023 in the total amount of $837,550.23. It's 2023 budget transfers as outlined in item D, E, F, and G. It's 1 Pennsylvania State University intern requested for the district attorney's office as outlined in on your agenda in item H, and that is at no cost to the county. It's a reappointment to the Blair County Redevelopment Housing Authority for Jane Petrosky for the period of July 23rd, 2023 through July 22nd, 2028. It's employments, resignations, and status changes as outlined in your agenda in item J, K, and L respectively.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Commissioner Webster, I'll make the motion.
I will second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We will move on to staff reports and special business, and Blair Senior Services is first. If you could come to the microphone, please.
Good morning. I'm Derek Flagg from Blair Senior Services. I'm not used to leading off, so I'm here about the MATP program, and the MATP program is a Medical Assistance Transportation Program. Serves eligible participants in need of transportation to medical appointments. Our participants are all Blair County residents, and most of their transport occurs to Blair County providers. Transportation is also provided to individuals whose medical needs cannot be served locally. As the COVID pandemic receded, the request for transportation services began to creep upward as more and more facilities again began scheduling face-to-face appointments and moving somewhat away from telehealth. Trip requests and travel began an upward climb toward a more normal demand for our folks. So for the fiscal year 21-22, we served 1,382 participants, which is a 10.3% increase over the previous fiscal year. Trips totaled 48,297. That's a 7.5% increase from the previous year. And our allocation increased by 11.2% as well. Any questions?
My question was going to be about whether we've returned to kind of pre-COVID levels, but you sort of covered that. So.
Currently today, we're even closer to the pre-levels.
Okay, we will move that to Thursday's agenda. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Social services.
Good morning. I am here requesting the approval for the submission of Revision 3 of the State Fiscal Year 21-22 Income and Expense Report for the Human Services Block Grant for Mental Health, Housing, Assistance Program, Human Services and Support Services, Intellectual Disabilities, and Drug and Alcohol Programs to the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services for a new retained earnings amount of $217,553. There's a reduction of $921 due to some things being paid out of a grant that should have been paid out of base.
Maybe the third time will be the charm. What do you think, Trish?
Not.
Don't hold your breath.
I'll cross my fingers.
That's right.
Any questions on that one? Thank you. Then, are you handling the second item
I
as
am
well?
also handling the second item. I'm here today also requesting approval of an Affordable Housing Trust Fund disbursement in the amount not to exceed $20,000 for Operation Safe Space to assist in providing housing services for those being relocated from uninhabitable living conditions.
Any questions on that one?
Go ahead, Commissioner.
My only question would be, have they identified a place to put folks? You don't have to say where, just yes or no. That's all I'm interested in.
We are in works on trying to figure that out. We
Okay.
have stopgap measures, but nothing that is going to be a considerable, permanent place.
Thank you.
Trish, I do know that Commissioner Erb does want to make a few comments on Thursday when he returns.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to attend that meeting just in case he has any questions for you
Absolutely.
specifically. So thank
Either
you.
myself or Missy will.
Okay, perfect. That sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is children and youth, and I saw Mindy back there.
Hello. We're requesting approval of fiscal year 22-23 purchase of service agreement and a HIPAA business associate agreement between the County of Blair, Blair County Children, Youth and Families, and Children's Aid Society of Clearfield County.
Any questions on that one?
No.
Okay. And your second one?
And approval of fiscal year 22-23 purchase of service agreement and a HIPAA business associate agreement between the County of Blair, Blair County Children, Youth and Families, and Presley Ridge.
And both of those contracts are ones that we've had in the past.
Correct.
And serve us well. So
Yep.
thank you.
Yes, we've dealt with them for a while.
Thank you. We will move those to Thursday. Now, next is court administration. I did not see anyone.
I do know that this, I can give you a little bit of background on it beyond what's on the paper there. they do yearly come with a request for approval for a submission to the senior judges chambers and the support staff that are applicable to the reimbursement costs that are allowable through the AOPC. This year, they're looking for $9,694. That's a total of 57 secretarial hours, law clerk hours of 29, and facility use for 140.5 days. And I do know that the senior judges are making the world go around right now in Blair County. They're really filling in some gaps. So I was not surprised to see. I think that number is just a little bit higher than it had been in the past. I wasn't surprised to see that since we do have the need for it.
Yeah, I think my recollection is it's about twice what it usually is, but of course we had a vacancy for most of the year last year until Judge Zimmerman was appointed. So it's not surprising, and I don't think we expect to get 100% of this back, but
Never
we
do.
will. We always ask. So
That's right.
so we can. Is there any other questions or?
Yeah, is there anything you need me to find out for Thursday at all? Or?
No, it's just
Reach out to
good to
Nicole.
be applying for reimbursement.
So we will move that to Thursday. Next is Public Works.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
Good
Paul.
morning.
Requesting approval of a 2023 pricing agreement between the County of Blair and Proactive Sports for the following employee uniform items. The pricing is outlined below. I did get 3 quotes. I got one back. The other one did not give me a quote back. This Proactive has always seemed to be the cheapest. These are in my budget for uniforms, and this is to help visibility for the highway guys out when they're working on the roads and the bridges.
And I see your org and object there. You're paying for that out of a special fund. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
That is out of the uniform fund, I believe is what it is.
Is it liquid fuels?
It'll be liquid fuels, yes,
Yes,
I'm sorry.
that's the one.
I'm sorry, yes. It'll be out of the liquid fuel fund.
That is an allowable expenditure out of liquid
Yes,
fuels.
I'm
And
sorry.
I, just as a note, I was reading through the agenda admittedly quickly, and I'm like, okay, we're going to buy 29 mediums and 1,799 smalls. But no, that's the part
That's the
number.
price.
It's
And
like-
also I will put, this will be also a contract for anybody else in the other departments that want to use it for T-shirts. So if they would like to go to Proactive Sports.
I think we should have purple shirts, but that's just me.
I think, any other questions, comments? Okay. We will move that to Thursday.
Okay, thanks.
Next is the prison.
Morning.
Good morning.
Requesting approval for the acceptance of the bids received for review, award or rejection according to the county code thereafter for the Blair County Prison Security Upgrades Project. And the information is below on the 2 bids we received.
We're just asking for acceptance today. We do have to have those go through engineering and legal review. So as soon as that process is over, we'll provide the commissioners with that information. I'm hesitant to say this project. I'm not gonna say a word on anything else. We're just accepting today to let those go through for the award.
So we have to accept them before we can review them, correct? Is there a motion to accept?
Commissioner Webster, I'll make a motion that we accept the bids that we received for the Blair County Prison Security Upgrades Project.
I will second that. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we'll hope that the review is favorable.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next is Commissioner's Office, and Nicole is not here, so are you? or no,
Allison's in.
Allison
Yep, I
is
can
not
take
here.
that. Yep,
Sorry.
that's okay. We did receive back our annual P Corp renewal for insurance. I do have the the agenda breakdown, or on the agenda, I have the breakdown of the payment option we would like to select, so you can see the payments there and their due dates. This does represent about a $55,000 to $57,000 increase over last year. As a board member of P Corp, I could go in very in depth into how we got to that percentage, but I'll leave you with this: the average P Corp increase over all of the counties was 14%. We are at 14%, so we are average for them. Typically, we are on the lower side of that. Typically, we do come in with a renewal that's a little bit better, but we've had, as the board is aware, we've had multiple lawsuits that have changed our position in P Corp. So we're not as favorable to them right now. We did come out with a 14% increase, but we expected that. Insurance markets, as we sat and listened to our reinsurers and our brokers speak, insurance markets over the country are going 20 to 25% with annual renewal rates increased. We were very lucky in P Corp to have a 14% this year. So some factors weighed into that, but like I said, I won't go into detail. That's not for this meeting. But our increase is right on track with what all the members saw in P Corp. Any questions or need any more information on that?
I don't think I do at this point.
No, thanks.
And then your second item?
Yep. The second item is, as you remember, we first applied for and then amended the P Corp grant that we usually receive. We did have one application that went in for about half the money. This is for the remainder balance, the $13,515.98. I'm happy to report that just about as soon as that email went in, we got the response back that we were awarded that grant. So this is to accept that grant. We'll move forward with getting formal quotes finalized and bring those quotes to you that were underneath the underlying of this grant, those that support documents. We'll get those refreshed from Empire and the projector. We'll get those refreshed and we'll bring them to a meeting if they need to. I think the projector was off of CoStars, so that won't come. Any questions or thoughts on that?
I do have a question. So I recall the swipes. I don't recall the projector being included in the grant request, which is fine. But how does that exactly relate to loss prevention?
Great question, and P Corp had the same one. We are going to turn the back half of this room into a training room, so for larger audiences. And P Corp offers many virtual and or online kind of grab and go tutorial videos. And they were very happy to hear that we would be sharing and showing those to our employees, new hires. So what will happen is we'll have the screen in the back and the projector hang from the top just like it was, but the old projector didn't do the things that it wasn't great to connect to. It wasn't great to see. So it's an upgrade to that. It has been since removed since we painted the room, and now we'll get it back in here. They're very happy to support that, but we did have to actually, they had the same question, so we did go back with them with that answer, and they're very happy to support a training room.
So improved training means less risk. Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
In theory, yes.
All right, and the final item there.
Yes. The final item is to actually dissolve what we currently have on the books as the Solid Waste Authority. And the Solid Waste Authority, up until this point, Nathan has, I'll throw it to him, I'll tell you the most recent years, but then we'll ask him if he has any comment. It only existed in the last couple years here to hold the land that is up on the Buckhorn. That land has since been deeded to the IRC, the Intermunicipal Relations Committee. The Intermunicipal Relations Committee also runs the recycling and composting station that's on the Buckhorn. It's the property that originally formulated that, what they sit on today. The property was purchased with grant funds, so the entire property was purchased by the county. It sits in Cambria in Blair County. It was purchased with grant funds, so it was never used for public money. So the intent was never to be able to sell that, to bring it back into county coffers. It would always be the recipient or any sale or profit or benefit from that land would always go back to the Intermunicipal Relations Committee. So it was the decision in March for that land to be deeded to the IRC in completion, the entire tract, with whatever deed it's multiple deeds. So whether it came with or did not come with any mineral rights or not, everything is deeded now to the IRC. And with there not being land to hold and no other real business for the Solid Waste Authority, the motion was made and passed by the Solid Waste Authority to go ahead and dissolve that piece of property. So I'll let Nathan fill in any gaps that I've missed in my short tenure here at the county and understanding of the process.
You've covered it pretty well. The only thing I would add is that there had been consideration of deeding that property and doing this some time ago. One of the reasons that there was a delay is there was some consideration of trucking silt from the Lakemont lake up there to dispose of it on that site. That ultimately didn't make financial sense, and they I believe took it to Annis Township to an area that they were reclaiming themselves. And so this is just carrying out what has kind of been looked at as a long-term plan since the closing of the county solid waste department for some time. And I agree, there isn't any other, we don't have a landfill. We have 4 municipalities that are mandated recycling communities under current law. So there's really no county involvement in recycling and or waste. And so there isn't any other business that this authority would have to conduct at this point. So there are required reports and things that should be filed if it's still in existence. No reason to continue to have to file those if we aren't going to use it, so it should be dissolved.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on that one? We've reached the end of new business. There is no old business, so we have reached the end of the agenda and we'll adjourn at this time. Thank you.